episode of the Biryani Football Podcast. Today, we actually brought some biryani, so we'll be excited to share that with you. And we've got a lot of other stuff planned ahead. And so let's get right into it.
Right. Week 1. Wow. What a finish. Amazing advertisement for NFL. Football is such an awesome game. And week 1 really lived up to the hype. I mean, we wait all summer long for that, right? Unbelievable. But yes, like Viraj said, that we did bring biryani. So let's actually start with it. So we just bought a sample from the biryani. FYI, we don't get paid for this, or nor we get free biryanis. We pay for, we actually pay for our biryanis. And today we got chicken biryani, dum biryani from a place called Biryani City. Maybe I'll put the address below, from Hillsborough, New Jersey. So here's the deal, right? I have 3 factors. And Viraj, let me know once I finish, what do you think about it? I have 3 factors on how a good biryani should taste like. The first thing for me is the rice should not be sticky. It should be like, when you throw it down, I should see every single grain individually. That's like a perfect biryani, right? The second thing is the aroma. The aroma should be like amazing, right? And really taste that amazing. Smell that aroma, right? Third thing is it should not be dry. That's the thing for me. I mean, obviously, like the flavor and the taste, that's there as well. That's by default. So it should not be sticky. So it should be. So those are the 3 factors. So let's see what you got. But one more thing, like when you think about biryani, there are a lot of biryanis, obviously. If you have vegetables in your biryani, that is not a biryani. Period. If you have potatoes or whatever it is, it's not a biryani. Don't go for it. All right. Viraj, I mean, you're born here. Obviously, you're also kind of born into biryani because, New Jersey is like India and, we eat biryani all the time. So what are your factors? What do you see? Like, give me one thing or 2 things, whatever.
Yeah. So I think one of my biggest factors, well, I'm Indian, so obviously I'm going to have to say how spicy it is. I think the spicier, the better. But specifically in terms of biryani, I might have to disagree a little bit with you on there. I think that when you're eating biryani, it has to be a little bit on the drier side. It can't be too wet.
I agree.
Because then it would be more like a curry, so.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not saying it's like it has to be like a rice mixed with curry, but it should not be too dry though.
Yeah.
Should have I mean, I know we did get like the gravy to go with it. We're not going to put it. But, it should at least be like, without the gravy, it shouldn't be dry.
Yeah. That's
what I mean. But yeah, I agree. It shouldn't be like drenched with oil or something like that, or ghee or whatever it is. All right, let's see. And on a scale 1 to 10, we'll take a couple of bites. We're not going to eat all the food in front of you guys, but just like a couple of bites. Pretty good. So here in New Jersey, in some restaurants, especially this restaurant, they have mild, medium, and spicy. And they also have like Indian mild, medium, and spicy. So we got Indian medium, which means it's not too spicy. It's spicy enough, but you can actually taste the flavor. So the meat is very cooked, cooked well, and the rice is cooked well. So probably on a scale 1 to 10, I would say 6.5, 7, because even though it's good, I definitely miss a little bit of flavor, the original flavor of the biryani. I smell too much masala, so not like store-bought masala. That's what I taste.
I agree. Maybe it could have a little bit more flavor, but other than that, it's pretty good.
Yeah. All right. So let's finish this later on. But that's a quick introduction to biryani from Central Jersey. Chicken Dum Biryani from Biryani City in Hillsborough. 7 out of 10. If you go with your family or your friends, you won't be disappointed. I mean, you're not going to throw it away. I mean, I've been places like, when I first came to the US, they were like so far and few. Biryani places, and sometimes we have to go and buy it and throw it away. So this is not that kind of biryani. It's pretty good. At the same time, is it 10 out of 10? No. 7 out of 10. That's what I would say. What is your rating, Ray?
Yeah, I would probably say like 6.5 out of 10. Yeah.
Okay. We'll finish this later. So week 1, unbelievable. So me and Viraj got to go to the Steelers game versus Jets. You already saw like the posts on YouTube, and Amazing game, amazing. We're not going to go into the deep dive into that, but I'll just say a couple of things, and you can share, Viraj, if you have a few things on that as well. The first thing is, if you're in New Jersey, the best way to go to MetLife Stadium is go to Secaucus, park your car there, take the train ride. It's $5 up, up and down, and it puts you right in front of the stadium. I know, I used to park the car in MetLife Stadium, and just to get out after the game, sometimes I had to leave earlier just so I can get on the turnpike to get to home. 1 to 2 hours minimum. But the train, 10 minutes. And on the highway, right after the trains, get out of the train, on the highway within 5 minutes. So
Yeah.
unbelievable. So that's what I would recommend. And the amount of Steeler fans that descended into New Jersey that morning, ridiculous. It was like a yellow sea. Especially when the Steelers were on the defense. People were yelling defense, and I had to second guess myself. Wait a minute, am I in Pittsburgh or New Jersey? Unbelievable atmosphere. Unbelievable game to see in person, because it had up and down. It was almost went to the last second. So yeah, great way to start. I was so thankful to go in person, that we got to go to that game in person. So what do you think?
Yeah, I thought it was a great game to attend. I remember after Jalen Ramsey made that tackle, a lot of Jets fans were leaving early in disappointment. But for the Jets fans, I saw they could see that they were pretty pleased with their state of their quarterback, and I thought it was one of the better games I've seen in a while from the Steelers. And I thought the atmosphere is incredible, and the seats are pretty good, and we got a good view of the field. So I'm happy that we got to go.
Yeah, we picked these tickets. The Ticketmaster had no fees tickets that weekend. So we got a decent deal, not a great deal, but the seats were pretty good. I think we were able to make out the players and the plays, and it was pretty good. Nothing beats watching at home where it's up close, but you gotta enjoy the atmosphere with the fans. And we were sitting in a section where we were surrounded by Jets fans, so we're kind of rubbing it in. They were rubbing it into us as well. They scored touchdowns. So it was fun. Awesome fun. Great weather in Jersey that Sunday. So really good. All right. So with that, I have 5 takeaways from week 1 across the league, all the way across all the 16 games that we had in week 1. And what I did is I broke it down into 5 different categories. And Viraj, you can feel free to chime in once I have finished my thought. The first one I kind of titled as QB swap. And you can guess it, right? The same game that we went to, the 2 quarterbacks pretty much swapped their jerseys, right? Jets last year it was Aaron Rodgers playing for Jets and Justin Fields playing for Steelers, even though Justin Fields only started a few games, not every game.
6, yeah.
So this year it was the other way around. So the QB swap, and I gotta tell you, both the quarterbacks played really well.
See there,
Justin Fields, 3 TDs, 0 INTs in his first start. And, he was really playing well. I think the O-line really held up very good. And, it's amazing, how a solid O-line can help your quarterback. And obviously, Jets is a run-first kind of a team. And, Breece Hall was running all over the place. Anyways, the quarterback story. Both the quarterbacks flourished in 2 different teams. And Aaron Rodgers was on fire. 4 TDs. Are you kidding me? Every single time he was there, when he had to make a play, he was making a play. And that was one thing we always lacked in Steelers, where when a quarterback had to make a play, we were not able to make a play previously. And this time around, it's not the same story. So that was great to see. And the only thing I will say is, I know Aaron Rodgers, seeing him through the years, he always scrambles when he has to and throws on the fly. Sometimes he was a little bit slower. Obviously he's older, but he was a little bit slower than before, and he got a couple of sacks. But other than that, man, he was on fire. I wish our O-line holds up a little bit more, and I think it gives a little bit more time to Aaron Rodgers, and he can be even more dangerous. But that's my first point. QB swap. Guys, what do you think?
Yeah, I think that overall Justin Fields played a pretty flawless game. There's obviously a few things that he could improve on. I think that last play definitely, I think personally he made the wrong decision. I think he should just ran for that first down, but that's neither here nor there. There's a lot left to be desired, but there's a lot left to be proud of if you're a Jets fan watching Fields right now. And I think that he played a pretty good game. And in terms of the Steelers, I think that Aaron Rodgers did an amazing job with getting the ball out of his hands quickly, even especially considering the O-line didn't really hold up for that long. I think it's really important that he was able to get the ball out of his hands quickly. I do think, though, that he missed some plays down the field that could have had more yards, and he just went for the quick throws. And so maybe that's something he could improve on, going for the bigger yards rather than the easy yards, but small. Yeah. But small like amounts. So yeah. I think that overall both quarterbacks played a pretty great game, and I think they do better in their new systems and the way that each coach is adapting their entire system and building it around the quarterback. And I do think that Aaron Glenn had a great debut as head coach, and I think that they really have a great synergy between Justin Fields and Aaron Glenn. And so, yeah.
I agree. I mean, obviously there's no moral victories, but in this case, I think there is a moral victory for Jets. I mean, Jets fans were like so disappointed in the stadium, but at the same time, there's a lot of promise for Justin Fields. Just a quick stat on Aaron Rodgers. He completed 22 out of his 30 passes for 136 points passer rating. That's crazy. All right, my second one is the Ravens. Obviously, the Ravens team, Bills and Ravens team. What a game it was on Sunday night. What a game. And obviously Ravens lost, and I was looking at it, Buffalo's win probability dipped to 1.1% with 8.5 minutes left in the fourth quarter, and making the comeback was the 13th most improbable of the last decade. That's crazy. Allen obviously passed for 394 yards and 2 touchdowns and ran for 2 touchdowns. And, it was the 7th game of his 8-year career with multiple passing and rushing touchdowns. The most all-time in NFL history. That's crazy. And obviously, Derrick Henry, he coughed the ball. I mean, he was amazing. He was ridiculously crazy. I mean, nobody could even catch him. He was on fire throughout the game. But towards the end of the game, he coughed up a fumble, and that led to the Bills' touchdown 4 plays later. Even though, they could not do the 2-point conversion, that would have tied the game. That's why even in the Steelers and Jets game, they went for 2 twice, and that was the difference. So, if you're going for 2 points, you better be sure of it, right? And in 1 minute and 26 seconds, the Bills went on a 9-play, 66-yard drive, capped off by Matt Prater game-winning 32-yard field goal with time expiring. Crazy game. One for the books. But here's the deal, though. I mean, it's like Ravens are so good on paper. I mean, Zay Flowers was unstoppable. There was so much cushion between him and the
Jair Alexander.
Right? And their players are like star players. Lamar Jackson, and one of the maybe the best quarterback right now in the league. I don't know, arguably, right? But still, they always come up short in the key games. And this was like one. Obviously it's not a division game, but still a conference game. Maybe they would have had like a mental, confidence booster. I'm not sure. Whatever it is, it's still week 1. You can't just write off. But when it matters, it feels like, Ravens under Lamar Jackson always come up short.
Yeah, I think there's a statistic. It was like John Harbaugh has had that exact same thing happen where he's winning by multiple scores in the fourth quarter and then he ends up losing to the team that he's beating. And I think he's the most losing coach when he's winning by multiple scores in the fourth quarter.
Yeah.
Maybe I think it was in NFL history. So that's something that Ravens definitely have to do. It's something you can't really draw up a play scheme for that. You just gotta be able to have that ability and that clutchness. It's the intangible qualities that players have to have and that the coaches have to drive into their players. So yeah. I think that they really do have to be able to finish off the games, and because starting it is one thing, but finishing off is more important.
I agree. Absolutely, I agree. And the third one that I actually wrote here is the Lions and Packers game, which was obviously it's a division game. And I'll break it down to like in offense and defense. Packers offense, Jordan Love was on fire, man. He started fast, 2 touchdown passes, finishing with 128.6 passer rating. And, they showed enough balance, because Josh Jacobs, he was pretty good. He had a rushing touchdown as well. And on the Lions offense, they struggled mightily. They struggled to establish a rhythm. It's like, they had like this week one jitters. They could not establish themselves, establish a rhythm. They could not run a lick. They were only averaging like 2.1 yards per carry. Quarterback Jared Goff completed a high percentage of passes, 31 of 39. That's a lot of throwing, but relied heavily on short throws, behind the line basically. And with 26 of his 31 completions traveling just 6 yards or fewer. And that's not him. I mean, he likes to throw, down the field. And I almost feel like is it because of the offensive scheme. Ben Johnson is no longer with them. And the new OC, maybe it's dink and dunk offense, which really doesn't fit their scheme of things. And he also got sacked 4 times, and they could not convert in the red zone. They went into red zone for 4 times, and they only came up with one conversion, which was a major factor. Real quick on the defense, the story of the weekend or the last week was Micah Parsons, and he was as advertised. He made his debut and contributed a dominant defensive performance, 4 sacks and interception. Crazy. And the defense effectively pressured Goff and stifled the rushing game. I mean, if you can, stop the run, it's so hard. Like you become one-dimensional, right? You keep on throwing and eventually you'll make a mistake. And that's exactly what happened. And the Lions defense, though, on the other side, on the flip side, they could not put any pressure. They just could not, put any pressure on Love. And he had a lot of time to throw. Maybe it's the improved O-line, the receiving core. But whatever it is, interesting game. I picked this game for a reason because I did not expect. I mean, obviously, I was curious to see how Lions will come back without Ben Johnson. And if the offensive struggles will be different or like it will be same like, high-powered offense. But that was not the case. And even like the majority of the score was in garbage time. And it's a division game as well. And these guys play pretty tight. So advantage Packers. I mean, it was interesting. What do you think, Raj?
I agree, and I totally agree with what you said, that their new offensive play style does not fit their type at all. They're that team that always goes for it on 4th downs. They're very long passes, long runs, and they play these special design plays for their offensive linemen. And, I just didn't see any of that fun football, honestly, that they usually play. And it was just really rough watching them, seeing how they fell from last season. And I'm really hoping that this was just, week 1 jitters and that they will improve next week. And I'm hoping that they will be better, but I really don't know. And, in terms of Jared Goff, maybe he's a little shaken up after losing that divisional game, which everyone said that they were supposed to win, and just losing it. Maybe the team is still recovering from that. It is a mental game as much as it is a physical game, so there's a lot of mental aspects from a team that was supposed to win everything last year and ended up not even making the championship. So
I thought they made the championship.
No, they made the divisional.
Who were in the championship? 49ers?
49ers and Eagles. Or no, what? Eagles and
I don't remember either.
Eagles and Commanders.
Oh, Commanders, right? You're right.
They lost to the Commanders in the divisional round, so they have to. They're probably still recovering from that. So I think that maybe next week they'll be better, and that this fluke is just a fluke. But and in terms of the Packers, I'm really excited to see where they go this year, especially with Micah Parsons. Not only is Micah Parsons adding pressure, they're also focusing a lot of their power onto Micah Parsons, and that allows for other linebackers like Lucas Van Ness to get the sacks. So it's really great to have him for the Packers defense, and it's really annoying for every other team. So I'm excited to see how that defense is going to be this year.
Yeah, and a quick tidbit, even though it's not related to the Lions, on the Packers side, tonight, Thursday night, Commanders are playing Packers, and the guy who drafted Parsons, right? DQ, Dan Quinn, who's the head coach of Commanders, he said, you better sit him this time because you're coming to town. So that was a fun tidbit. All right, talking about quarterbacks, my 4th one is Daniel Jones. Unbelievable.
Yeah,
Who was he?
That was the last thing I was expecting this week.
We were watching the scoreboard in the stadium, and we were looking the score from Colts. I'm like, what's going on? Is this really Daniel Jones really playing this game? It's crazy. It's really crazy. But you know what? That's what a really good O-line does for quarterback. You kind of touched on that before. It's everybody who knows football, that the first thing you build is O-line. Once you have a solid O-line, you can have a good run game or a good passing game, whatever it is, right? And no negative plays. That O-line kind of transferred into like no negative plays, and the coaching matters, right? And I was listening to somebody on the radio, and they were saying like how coaching matters. Look at Justin Fields, or look at obviously you can't say Aaron Rodgers because he's a veteran, and he always plays well in a good scheme. Doesn't matter who the coach is. Look at Geno Smith, and look at all these guys. I mean, they're playing. Jordan Love, obviously, he has been playing consistently for a couple of years. Coaching really matters, and Daniel Jones really proved it. I mean, he completed 22 of 29 passes for 272 yards and a touchdown, and he also ran for 26 yards, and also had 2 scores on the ground. But he converted every single possession to points. Unbelievable.
That is insane.
That is crazy.
And I might add that everybody was making fun of the Colts for saying, why are you benching such an athletic player for a guy like Daniel Jones, even though they knew that Anthony Richardson had much to prove in. And honestly, I was thinking the same thing. Anthony Richardson, you did spend a first-round pick on him. I would still start him over Daniel Jones. But I think ultimately they did make the right decision here. Daniel Jones played an amazing game, and I do think that he might be the guy moving forward. Obviously, we don't really know for sure because the Dolphins, they did not play nearly as good as they should have, and they're probably like the worst team in the NFL right now, if I had to be honest. But so you can't really tell for sure. But the Colts do have an amazing roster. Maybe Daniel Jones is a system quarterback. I don't think that he is. I think that he still has to prove himself a little bit and really win those clutch games to really establish himself as one of the better quarterbacks. But I think this game was definitely something that Daniel Jones needed. And I did think he proves that he's not the same old guy from the Giants that everyone knew.
I mean, I agree. I mean, I don't think we can expect the same level of playing. Maybe he will. Anything can happen any given Sunday. But it's highly unrealistic to know that, he's going to play at the same level, converting every position to points and really knocking off the defenses. I don't think that's going to happen every week. But again, he's very improved, very, very improved, and he played really well. My final point is about the kickers, right? Kickers, man. I mean, I don't know how I feel about it because the offense and defense, even the special teams to a certain extent, minus the kicker, they're on the field for such a long time. They try to fight for every single inch and every point. And the kicker comes in just, hopping in happily, and then he kicks or not kicks, and that determines the game. So I don't know how I feel about it. I understand kicking is a position, it has been a key position for a while, but so many games kind of really went one or the other way because of the kicker. Obviously, Steelers have Chris Boswell. He put a 60 yards field goal. That's crazy. Open end stadium. Obviously, there was no wind because we were there. There was not at least there was no opposing wind, but still 60 yards in that nervousness. I mean, in situation, that's crazy. Now, just a few more, right? Andre Smith missed an extra point in the third quarter and a 36-yard field goal, and the Browns lost. That would have been amazing.
For the Browns to beat the Bengals and then just lose on that kick. Every time it seems like they're about to win, they just do something like that. I remember last year they're about to beat the 49ers, and then they missed a kick, and I was like, what's going on? So.
Yeah. And Young Koo, Jersey guy, shout out. He missed a 44-yard field goal, and that would have forced the overtime with the Bucks, and the Falcons lost 23-20. A third one is Cairo Santos. It looks like, Cairo Santos has always been talked about the missed goals. Poor guy. I missed a 50-yard goal in the third quarter, and the Bears lost to the Vikings. Again, that's crazy. If you guys, are around, you probably heard about the dink that has been heard across the Chicago, something like that, a few years ago. I think that's Cairo Santos as well. Fourth, Jake Moody missed a 27-yard field goal and a 36-yard field goal. Here, Chris Boswell is nailing 60-yard field goals, and this guy, chip shot, 27-yard field goal and a 36-yard field goal blocked. But still, the 49ers were able to beat the Seahawks 17-13. That's living on the edge.
Yeah, Jake Moody, I mean, he even cost him that Super Bowl back then, so... Yeah. I think it's only fair that he had to get cut. Unfortunately, you never like seeing it, but this is a part of the NFL. If you can't play up to the standards, even the bare minimum, you have to get cut.
But on a funny note, though, not so funny, but kind of funny. Did you see Kyle Shanahan's reaction? Like somebody asked, like, why was he cut? And he's like, do I really need to give a reason? I mean, kind of sad for Jake Moody, but he saw this coming. I mean, they gave him so many chances. He could have probably worked on his craft a little bit more and got better and made most of his opportunities. He didn't, and he got cut. Finally, Tyler Loop missed an extra point. Crazy. And the Ravens lost to Bills 41-40. And, you guys probably know this, but John Harbaugh is a special teams coach before he became a head coach. And his special teams are always unbelievable. Justin Tucker, as early as last year, he was unbelievable kicker. His special teams are always good. But missing an extra point that actually could cost the game, it's unacceptable. So that's my story. Week 1, talking about kickers already. Not too happy about it, but that's NFL for you. There were so many stories that if you would have said like a couple of weeks ago, we would have said like there's no way, but here we are, week 1. So what do you think?
Yeah, I think that kickers, they're just the one thing that should be a sure shot, and if you can't have that, then what do you have? So
right.
If you can't win those close games just because a kicker, one player can't make that field goal, you really got to question your scouting abilities. I mean, just to get that one person who can make that shot. And yes, I think it is probably the most stressful position in football to have the entire world looking at you and to make that game-winning field goal. And so, but I do think that kickers should, it's easier said than done, obviously, but when you're getting paid almost over $1 million per year for some kickers, you should be able to make that shot. And shout out to Chris Boswell, Matt Prater. They were able to do it and get the job done. They've always been consistent. I remember Matt Prater used to be with the Broncos back then. I can't even believe he's still in the NFL. But yeah, I think that they both deserve those wins. And I think, honestly, they should have gotten those game balls.
Yes, and a sidebar note, Matt Prater used to, kick for Broncos, and where, because of the elevation, the kicking is so much easier, and he goes to Bills, where it's so much harder because of the wind, the winter, slippery, all that stuff. So shout out to him. Big deal. So before we end, what is one game that you're looking forward to in week 2, Viraj?
I think the game that I'm looking the most forward to.
I put you on spot. It was not in the script.
I think one of the games that I'm looking the most forward to, honestly, I would have to say I might say tonight, Packers versus Commanders, just because the both teams that are Commanders had a little bit of a slow start there, but I think they did get the job done, and we're gonna see how they do against a good team like the Packers, and then we're gonna see how the Packers do against a team like the Commanders, and I think overall it's gonna be a slugfest, and we're gonna see who comes out on top. Yeah.
A lot of points, you think? Yeah. So for me, I'll give you 2. I'll take the easier route. Eagles Chiefs Super Bowl rematch. I think that's going to be good. I think Chiefs need that win. And Andy Reid usually has like a record where he does not win like 2 games in a row or something like that. I mean, lose 2 games in a row or something like that. So we'll see. The second sneakily good game, which I always watch because of it's an AFC North game, is Browns versus Ravens. That is going to be good because Browns always have Ravens number at least once every year. So
every single AFC North matchup, the Browns always find a way to keep it close somehow, only against AFC North teams. So
Flacco is returning to
Baltimore for the first time.
First time as a starting quarterback
on the opposing team.
So that'll be interesting.
About the Chiefs, I didn't say Chiefs and Eagles because I'm not too confident in how good of a game the Chiefs will play after they just got utterly destroyed, and then Xavier Worthy, got injured by his own teammate. So I don't know if he's going to play. But yeah, I think the Chiefs are just all over the place right now, and that they really have to get their act together.
Yeah. All right. So I hope you guys enjoyed our week 2, our podcast. So I'm just mumbling here of reviewing our week 1 games and also looking forward to week 2 games. And I hope you also enjoyed our biryani review. Chicken Dum Biryani from Biryani City in Hillsborough, New Jersey. We'll showcase more biryanis, good, bad, ugly, all of them as we progress through the season. Please feel free to share this with your friends, family, our podcast. We try to keep it fun, nothing serious. If you haven't subscribed to our channel yet, please subscribe and like our podcast as well. Signing off, this is Viraj and I'm Vivek. Enjoy week 2.
Bye guys, have a good one.